Hi guys. Okay. Glad you're here because I'm so interesting. Hey, this one is about toilet plungers. Most of them have used them. Here's one that my mom keeps in her garage. Okay, and it's just about stuff. Some of this stuff I've read about. It's better ways to use them. And I think one I didn't read about. I stumbled upon it on my own, or even a couple. Although I'm sure other people have discovered it and written it somewhere. But when you use these things, okay, there's a few, I'm sorry, I'm stumbling. Okay. One thing that'll help you, okay, so you try it and it doesn't clear whatever stoppage you have. So one kind of funny thing that'll help is, and this is one I read, I didn't come up with this on my own, is to actually put Vaseline around this where it is going to meet the actual the rim around the hole that you are trying to plunge. For some reason the Vaseline puts a better seal on it. Now this plunger, you could also push this stuff inside and then it becomes that kind of plunger. So in that case I think you put the Vaseline around here. And that's a good one. That helps. It's really surprising. Sometimes when it doesn't work without the Vaseline, if you put the Vaseline on, it will clear that stoppage. A second one is sometimes with your kitchen sink you have actually two sinks next to each other. If you can get two plungers and do it at the same time on both of those holes, even though just one hole is plugged sometimes, that will sometimes do it. Now the new idea I have for you is a lot of times when people plunge, they put their hands right up at the top and then work the plunger, and that will work sometimes. But what I noticed is when I was plunging, sometimes my hands would slip down like right to here, and if you're inclined to keep them up at the top, you might put them back up. But I was inclined to just say, okay, they've slipped down, or my one has slipped down, so I'll just leave it down there as I plunge. Or maybe both have slipped down. So I actually found that I could get a better and stronger and more focused kind of placement over the hole when I had my hands way down here, and get a more powerful pumping action than when I had them up here. And it makes sense because the closer you are to it, the more control you're going to get, the more you can keep it right over the hole. And then, in fact, I even went further. In my case, I started putting my fingers down here. Let me see how I can show you this. This one is a really stiff, it's called the bell, this rubber part. So this one doesn't collapse too easily, but I even started putting my thumbs there and working that thing, and that gives you even a more powerful suction and placement and power. And the other thing I kind of noticed, especially with the kitchen sink, is that when you plunge, I think people are inclined to push in and out, push in and pull out. But one thing I noticed is if you push it in and then just take your hands off, it will sort of actually return to its shape. It'll sort of suck by itself. Of course, when you push it in, the bell sort of, oh boy, this is a stiff old plunger. The bell sort of collapses but you can't see it. Yeah, this is maybe the wrong plunger. But you know, if you've used a plunger, you know what happens. The belt kind of collapses in, and then you pull up to get a suction. But if you push in and just leave it, the bell itself will start returning to its original shape, and it'll suck for you. So that one might actually give you a better suction, and it might be a little easier. Of course, it's a little slower because you're not just working that thing back and forth. But it's something you can add to your repertoire. If it seems to work, do it. If it doesn't, go back to the old way. So those are some of the ideas. And I'm pretty good at clearing toilets. Not necessarily my most well, I don't know. That's an okay thing to be able to do, really. It might not feel like the kind of thing you'd brag about, but it's a nice feeling when you get a toilet cleared that maybe someone else couldn't have cleared because they didn't know about how to get a more powerful plunge. So that's it. If you have any comment or want to add what you know about plungers or plumbing, please do, and thanks.